Alright guys, so it's time to have another Outlaw guide for Season 2. And as everyone knows, Outlaw is performing really well as well. So let's go right to the guide so you guys don't miss anything and know everything that changed on Outlaw. Right, so we can start with the rotation over here. And to be really honest, it doesn't change much. The only thing that changed over here on the beginning of the rotation is that now we want to empower Killing Spree because of all the changes that happened with Killing Spree for Season 2. So we now don't save Between the Eyes for Adrenaline Rush. We still send the first empowered combo point with Between the Eyes, because with fast action, each Between the Eyes that we send increase our damage by 1%. So for the rotation, that's basically what changes over here. With the tier set changes, we now get randomly a dispatch proc. Even if you press it with one combo point, it will basically use like you have it pressed with full combo points. So whenever you have that dispatch proc, you should be using it right away. So that's basically it for the rotation changes. It doesn't change much from the last season. And to be really honest, from all the three specs, Outlaw it's the one that has the least changes. As a rogue didn't have that much as well, but Outlaw Rogue it's also very near from what it was on Season 1. Knowing this, there's still a lot of things that you guys need to do on the rotation. For example, if you have opportunity and have 2 combo points, you can use opportunity to get to 6 or more combo points, so you can use Dispatch or use Between the Eyes, etc. I actually don't talk about that priority system on this video. I talked about that on my previous Outlaw videos. So I'm gonna direct you guys to the previous videos that I explained that part, so you guys can understand better what the priority system is on Outlaw, so you guys can properly play and know what to do. But as you can see over here, even without the burst, we still have a lot of sustained damage on Outlaw, which is very good. The damage is very consistent and high as well. Outlaw is on a very good position. On much of the bosses on the new raid, we have 2 and 3 target cleave, and Outlaw performs really well on those bosses. So we might see some Outlaw players still perform really well on the raids and everything. But for the rotation, that's basically what changed over here. On single target, it changes a little bit more. As you guys can see, we are not using Blade Rush. Because as we know, we don't have the other tier set that empowered our damage by using Blade Rush. So we now don't use Blade Rush, at least on single targets, because it only empowers the damage to non-primary targets. So it's not really useful to use it on single targets. So that's basically the only thing that changed on single target. The rotation is pretty much the same. We still want to use Between the Eyes first, then Killing Spree on empowered combo points, and that's basically it for the rotation. It doesn't change much. As we can see, the damage is very consistent. If we do the rotation properly, damage starts to ramping up. As we can see over here on the boss, we have a lot of burst damage on the beginning of the burst. A lot more than we had on Season 1, at least, which is very good. We might see some Outlaw Rogues on the raids, as we said before. But Outlaw is performing really well, as we can see over here. If we check a boss that we actually didn't had the burst on the beginning of the pull, we can even see that the damage starts to ramping up right when we start to use the burst. And on the end of the fight, we almost catch the mage that was bursting insanely in the beginning of the boss, and we almost catch it on the end of the pull. So yeah, that's basically it for the single target. The rotation doesn't change much, as we saw. It's basically those changes over there, and that's basically it for the changes that happened on the rotation. Right guys, I want to talk about here the pre-pull preparation before every pull, the same that we were doing on the last season. We want to press Adrenaline Rush into Killing Spree to activate disorienting strikes, then preparation into Adrenaline Rush again to have 2 empowered combo points when we start the dungeon. After that, you want to tweak the tank. In the last 5 seconds of the pre-pull, you want to use Slice and Dice, and right before the pull starts, you want to press Blade Flurry and Stealth. That's literally it what you want to do for the pre-pull. It can be a little bit tricky on the first tries that you do that, but it's very easy to pick up after. Alright guys, so right now we can see the stats, and for Outlaw what we want for stats. We want First stat that we want is crit, of course. We want around 40% crit. I still need more. Why we want crit? It's extra effectiveness on our attacks and healings, so double healing and double damage. After that we want haste. We want around 25 to 30% haste. I believe we need a little bit more haste than we need on season 1. And why we want haste? Haste increases our attack speed, energy regeneration, and of course because of the global CD. After that you want mastery, and for last you want versa. So that's literally it for the stats. I believe it doesn't change much from it was on season 1, so that's a good thing actually. I believe just want a little bit more haste, but all the gear on season 2 give us a lot more haste, so that's basically a win-win. So for the stats, that's basically it. Alright guys, other thing that I want to talk, it's the macros, of course. And I don't have much macros here for Outlaw, but a very important one, it's this one over here for the grapple. You don't have to press the grapple twice to activate the grapple. You literally need to aim the cursor where you want to go. It's gonna act like you press the button. So this is a very important one that I use a lot for Outlaw. Another one is of course the kick macro. Luckily this doesn't change anything on the CMD like it is on Assassination. And the other one just the burst, which is the adrenaline rush with the last potential. I use of course the macro for the trick of trades. Luckily trick of trades on Outlaw, the duration it's 1 hour instead of 60 seconds. This is just because of the talent so tricky over here on the trickster parts, and it basically increased the duration to 1 hour, which is insane. So that's literally it for the macros. Another thing that I want to talk, it's of course the talents, and the talent doesn't change much from single target to AoE. The only thing that actually changed is on single targets we are not using Blade Rush, as we now don't have the other tier set that empowered our damage when we use Blade Rush. Now we don't use Blade Rush that much on single targets, because it only increases the damage to non-primary targets, so on single target we are not even pressing it. This is the build that we are using for single target. The only thing that changes, of course, we are using Slate of Hand, and we are not using Slate of Hand on AoE. You're gonna have a lot more jackpots in stage 3 rolls with this build, because we're gonna have Slate of Hand and loaded dice. And the only thing that changed from the AoE, it's this part over here. We are not using Dancing Steel or Grand Melee, and instead of that we are using Great Hitter and Acrobatic Strikes. That's literally the only thing that changed. Of course the Blade Rush as well, but as you guys can see the M+ build, it's this one over here. As we said, it's literally the only thing that changed. Doesn't change anything from it was, I believe, from the other season. It changed just this part over here from the Blade Rush, and instead of this we are using Slate of Hand. So from the talents, that's literally the only thing that changed over here, guys. Alright guys, so that's basically it for the guides. This was just to show you everything that changed on Outlaw. Of course we didn't go through the priority system and everything, but that's on the other videos that we did. So make sure you guys watch the other videos. The next video is gonna be how to kill the Delve boss quickly and easy. So make sure you guys don't miss that video. Thank you again all for watching. My name is Mujgate, and I see you all on the next video.